I'm not a permission kind of girl, Kobi, I think you've gathered.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of Aha Moments podcast with me, Kobi Omenaka.
Authenticity is 4,000 times more powerful than love and hate.
My guest this week is Amelia Sordell, who is a personal branding savant and someone who's been championing me on my journey through LinkedIn and personal branding for the past few months. So it was a great pleasure to have her on the podcast.
You are dead a lot longer than you're alive, and there is very little that you can do in this life that's going to substantially fuck up your future.
There are 3 takeaways from this one episode. Number 1, learning to understand your internal signals and making that change when your body screams out for it.
Give 100% of your knowledge away for free. Prove that you can produce results by people that charge for your knowledge, and then bring some of your personality to the content.
Number 2, why your personality is so important and making sure that you're true to that and yourself.
Just fucking post it, because life is so short and you are actually alive a lot longer than you think.
Number 3, Amelia's tagline, just fucking post it. Amelia, thank you so much for joining me on Aha Moments podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks for having me, Kobi. Glad to be here.
I'm glad. I've been following your journey since, and I'm sure this is a typical route. One of my friends posted, hey, follow Amelia, she's great. And I was like, okay, fine. And there's a few of us who are trying to build up our personal profile on LinkedIn. And from the moment I was sent that link, I can't remember what post it was, I was like, yeah, I like Amelia, she's great. And every time I speak to someone who's in your ecosystem, they're like, I like Amelia, she's great. Are you feeling that? Are you getting that vibe? Do you get that kind of feedback?
I love, you know what, it's this, I get a lot of people messaging me saying similar things, which is really humbling. And it's very kind also for you to say, Kobi. And I feel very grateful that I do something that has such a positive impact on people. Like that is the benefit of putting yourself out online, I think, anyway, for me. However, I have spent a long time very insecure, I think is probably the right word. And so I used to really take what people said to me and their feedback that they gave to me with like real credibility, whether it was positive or negative, right? Which meant that the way I felt about myself fluctuated frequently, because it was always based on whether or I thought I was good enough or I was great enough or whatever it might be. And that was supported by the feedback loop I was getting from people speaking to me. And so now, 6 or so years into posting content, as grateful as I am, and I'm so humbled that people think, the content's great and they like me, and that's amazing. I also am slightly indifferent to it, because I have to be indifferent to it to be indifferent to the booze, to the people who are negative and who don't like me and who think that I'm obnoxious and loud and I should just shut up. And I get a lot of get back to the kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. TikTok's a fun place.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it's like, I'm so grateful, and I will never, ever stop being grateful. It's so funny. I have this book. My daughter's got a sticker on it. She stuck a sticker on it. And every morning I write down 4 things I'm grateful for, 4 things I need to do that day, 4 things that might distract me, and then 4 things I'm striving for. And every single day I write down, I'm so grateful to get paid to do something I love.
Yeah.
That will never stop being grateful. However, you have to be indifferent to ignore the booze, but if you ignore the booze, you also have to ignor the cheers. So
I kind of like that in a way. In a way, I feel slightly sad that you can't maybe absorb or enjoy the high parts as much as possible. In a way, you're compressing down the peaks and the troughs, so it's more neutered. Is that kind of fair?
Oh yeah, I feel the highs. Okay. Don't get me wrong, and I'm definitely not immune to a low or 2, but I just am unaffected by people's opinion of me, whether it's positive or negative.
Sure.
Like, I don't feel I'm a better person because people like me, or I'm a worse person because people don't like me. I'm like, I am who I am. The amazing thing about your personality, Kobi, is it attracts who you want to attract. I like you, and isn't it great that my personality has attracted you and you like me? Yeah. Like, that to me is like fucking brilliant. But also it repels who you want to repel.
Yeah,
so I don't have to entertain people who aren't my ideal person because they don't like me, and I wouldn't like them anyway. So, and that, I wish more people would learn that. If you can learn that your personality is an inbuilt repellent for idiots and attractant for amazing people, then like, why wouldn't you be yourself? Like, it's your superpower.
That's it. I think that's completely true. I want to just touch on something you said at the start of that, which was, I've been making content for 6 or 7 years. I feel that is a super important thing to relate to people. I'm very early on in my constant content generation process. As I record this, I'll be coming up to 200 days in a row posting on Instagram, on LinkedIn specifically. And
you're killing it, Kobi. Like, I hope you look back and you're like, whoa, like I did such a good job. You're killing it.
I'm going to be doing a post about it, just talking about the past 200 days. And I'll tag you in it as well, because you've been a key champion in that as well. So thank you so much for being there. But I feel I'm super early on in that journey. But what I see sometimes is, there's a few influencers on all the different channels saying, hey, just do this thing. And then suddenly you'll get all the sponsors coming towards you and fawning over you and saying that you're the king, you're the queen, you're the best person in the world ever. And that doesn't happen. And I think that honesty there, that honesty is one of the things that attracted me to what you were doing and has kept me with you and joining on your LinkedIn Lives, which I'm going to talk about in a second as well.
It's interesting, I just spoke to someone, like I was late to this podcast because I just had a sales call with someone. And they said, my main competitor is, so that they help people kind of get the job of their, like the life of their dreams, right? And they do that through coaching and all kinds of stuff, but they're very, very good at what they do. They've helped people go from £1 million years to £1 million months. Like they're very, very good at what they do. And they use a lot of science and kind of neuro reprogramming to help people achieve the things that they don't feel is possible yet. And they said to me, my competitors made $50 million personally. So like, who am I? I think sometimes who am I to be talking to people about how they can, they can achieve these things. And I said, but that person's been doing this for like 20 years. Yeah. And if anything, they're completely out of touch with their audience's struggles, because even though I have been doing this for 6 years and it hasn't happened overnight, and I'm very, very honest about it, I'm also honest about the fact that it's freaking hard. Even now, I'm like trying to manage this and trying to manage that and trying to manage that. And I think that authenticity has meant that I might have less followers than some of these people who are like, I can help you get 50 million followers in 5 working days. But I've got higher engagement. I think I would argue that if you look at our HMRC tax returns, I've probably made more on paper money through my personal brand because I've done it the right way. I haven't tried to hack some algorithm or pretended to be someone I'm not or whatever. I've just shown up. I've done the work. I've put the unsexy things in. And it's paid off. And I'm a champion of that process because everyone wants get quick schemes. Everyone wants to post 200 days a row, Kobi, and like, poof, they're an influencer. Like everyone wants that. And that's why we buy 7-minute abs. It's why we buy day trading courses, because we've been told by some crypto dude on Instagram that it's going to make us a billionaire, right? Like we fall for that every single time. And it's because people are inherently lazy. It's also our superpower. Being lazy is a good thing because it helps you find shortcuts and helps you make you really productive. But if you're trying to shortcut the stuff that's difficult, just know that everyone else is trying to shortcut the stuff that's difficult too. And therefore you should do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, particularly when it comes to personal branding. We've got ChatGPT and Claude and all of these things that you can use to create content. Well, if it's hard for you to create content and you're using ChatGPT for it, don't you think it's going to be hard for everyone else? And therefore they're going to be using ChatGPT to do it, which means that all of you sound the same. Yeah. You're all saying the same thing, same content, same playbook, same everything. So now you're investing time and money in building a personal brand to be different, but you sound the same. So it's like, do it the right way and you will always get results, I think is my cause anyway.
And they'd say doing the right way, it means it takes time, it takes effort.
Nothing good was built in a day. Like that is a tale as old as time. And again, everyone wants to get rich quick scheme. Like it doesn't exist. Even the people who made billions on Bitcoin had to sit on that for like 14 years. Nothing comes easy.
I mean, that's one of the key reasons I love and talk about podcasting so much, especially in this age of AI, is that it's authentic to the core. Because if you're on a podcast, you're not being AI generated. If you're on a conversation like this between yourself and yourself, 2 people aren't AI generated. Its authenticity cannot be captured. Certainly in today's AI, maybe in like 10, 15, 20 years, but it's not that case. And I feel that is a bit of a shortcut, if you're looking for shortcut and laziness, to getting your authenticity across in content. And the way it kind of translates into other media, I think is still works as well. But I think it is true, people are inherently lazy. And I have found that when I'm going to be honest, I use ChatGPT every day to soundbite and help me with the structure of content. But when my content has done best is when I've written it the most and said, hey, what do you think about this? And it gives me 1 or 2 points. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Let's then post it, instead of going, give me a post about content marketing. Okay, good. And then copy and paste that, because that's horrific.
That's boring.
Yeah.
Boring. And it's so funny because ChatGPT specifically does have a tone of voice. People say like, oh, I've trained it. And it's like, no, you haven't. I can tell that's ChatGPT. It's so funny. I scroll through my LinkedIn feed and I'm like, GPT. Like, it's so easy to spot because it's just like an AI generated photo. It feels soulless. There is something soulless about AI communication that I can't put my finger on other than authenticity. And what's interesting about authenticity is people talk about this like it's a marketing buzzword, Kobi, but it's not. It's a frequency emittance from your body, like all emotions. So we have authenticity, we have anger, love, all of those things, happiness, humor, laughing, all of those things emit a certain frequency from our body. And you can actually measure that frequency through, I can't remember what the technology is called, but they put receivers on your body and they can measure the emittance of the energy from your body. And authenticity is 4,000 times more powerful than love and hate.
Oh, wow.
4,000 times more powerful. So when I think about that in connection to why does that post feel so like soulless? Like, why does that picture look so soulless? It's because it's authentic. And whether you realize it or not, your body can read that. It might not know why it feels weird, but it knows it's weird. And that's because of this authenticity thing, in my opinion. No,
definitely. Well, I do feel it myself. And I'm like, the AI stuff is good. The AI image is good, but you can just tell no matter how high quality it is, there's just an offness to it. And it's
just something missing. Yeah. It's a soul.
Yeah.
Missing a soul. It's missing a soul.
So go back to that 7 years. What made you start that day, that first post 6 or 7 years ago?
What was my aha moment 6 or 7 years ago? Truth be told, I sort of fallen into personal branding. So I've always worked in sales and marketing. I started my first business when I was 21. Mm-hmm. Well, first legal business, I should say, when I was 21. I was running.
That sounds dubious when you say that. Previously, I had illegal businesses.
I mean, I set up an eBay business when I was like 13, and like obviously, like I didn't have a social security number, so like that can't really have been a legal business. Yeah. And then I also had like a cupcake stand at my university because I worked out there was a big like stoner community, and stoners love cakes. So I set up a cupcake stand, and I used to make like 300 quid a week selling cupcakes to stoners. Again, I was 17, so it wasn't like I was registered at somebody's house or anything, but I was always doing something. And when I was 21, I set up a clothing brand, grew very, very quickly, featured in the Daily Mail pretty much every week. We had Colleen Rooney, Danielle Lloyd, at the time, lots of Made in Chelsea, lots of Towie people wearing our clothes. Oh, wow. We kind of came up at the same time as House of CB, which is now a huge multi-million pound brand started in a similar way. Year 2, I lost everything. So bankrupted the business, had no income, lost my house, had to sell my car because I couldn't afford to pay for anything, had to move back with my parents. And then from there, I sort of went into sales in the form of recruitment. And during that kind of onboarding process, if you like, of becoming a recruiter and kind of working out the people buy from people. And I suppose I kind of inherently knew this already because whenever I'd post pictures on our brand account and it was of me wearing the dress, it always sold more or got more likes than when it was just like a stock image of the dress. So I'd already started learning that was important, whether it was conscious or not. Yeah. And throughout the recruitment process, I worked out that the people that closed and wanted to work with me were always the people I'd spoken to. And the people that I'd spoken to always came from DMs I'd sent or comments I'd left on their company page or whatever. It was never cold calling, ever. And people have got mixed opinions about cold calling. Up to you if you want to spend 5 hours a day on the phone smashing them. Not for me. So I decided to start posting content instead because the time I was taking to cold DM these 20 odd people a week, I was thinking, well, I'm sending them all the same thing, so why don't I just start creating content about it? And so I started creating content about it, and obviously that was getting engagement. And so when I was then kind of promoted into being B2B marketing manager instead of just a recruiter for the business, because of the efforts I'd proven were correct throughout personal branding, even though I didn't know it was personal branding yet, I said to the CEO, I, as a recruiter, was getting all of this inbound stuff, and I was closing these big deals without having to spend all this time on the phone. How do you feel about promoting the recruiters instead of the business? And he thought it was a stupid idea. He thought they were going to leave the business. Like, why would I let them post on LinkedIn when they're just going to get headhunted? And I thought, well, that's, it says more about your leadership than it says about people posting content on LinkedIn, but that's by the by. Anyway, I'm not a permission kind of girl, Kobi, I think you've gathered. And so instead of asking permission, I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to do it anyway and see what happens. And so I went from about 1,500 followers to about 8,000 followers in about 3 months. Mm. on LinkedIn, which was pretty fast growth back then, especially as it wasn't really a social platform then. It was still very much considered a job board. So I was one of the first early adopters of posting content on the platform. And I was only posting like 2 times a week, maybe once a week, and then it kind of increased to 3 times a week. And I suppose my aha moment was when I started getting people DMing me being like, I've been following you for 3 months. How did you get 8,000 followers? And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so I started talking about my journey in building my personal brand. I, again, didn't know it was a personal brand yet. I was just like, followers on LinkedIn. Like, that's how you do it. Wasn't monetized. And then COVID hit, Kobi. And I was sat in a house with a now ex-husband who we weren't mates. Like we weren't, whatever. And 2 children with no childcare. And logging on every day on Zoom to like work. And I was just thinking, is this my life? Like, am I going to be doing this for 50 grand a year for the rest of my life? And my aha moment where I was like, fuck this, was about April 2020, when I had a dream that I'd started a business and the business taught brands how to humanize themselves to make more money. And I had this dream. I remember vividly standing in this like massive office and I was giving a speech to all my employees about what a great year we'd had and all this kind of stuff. And I woke up the next day and I was like, I quit.
Wow.
I quit. And I quit then. I left the business in August that year. On the Friday, I started Clout on the Monday the following week. And I actually had that moment when I stood in front of an office that didn't look too dissimilar actually to the one in my dream. I had a 40-person office in Mayfair in London. And I remember standing up and giving everyone like this is what we've done this year. And like, isn't it exciting? Everyone has some champagne. Like we had that moment. So I suppose the aha moment for you was a few there, but it's all kind of tied up in fuck around and find out, because you never know what's possible if you just chip at something for a couple of years.
I think that's, well, I mean, when first of all, when you said April 2020, that's when my kid was born during the pandemic. And that was just such a blissfully, but also super dark time. Like just like it's just 2 warring sets of emotions happening. It is insanity. So that really set the tone for me, especially the logging onto a Zoom call or Teams as it was for us. And I equally kind of felt that the company I was working with before at that time, I really loved the guys. I really loved being in the office with them. But when that disconnect happened and we were suddenly was remotely working and just logging in once a day to chat on Teams, I was suddenly realized that I don't really like the product at all that we're selling. I couldn't give a toss about it. And it made it harder and harder to carry on working down that route. So I think it's interesting to have different realizations about what you're doing and understanding that even if the money's okay or it's good or it's supporting your life, that it's not something that's sustainable in a way, shape or form, and making that step in the way you did, in the way I did, I peeled away a few months later as well, is something you should pay attention to and try and get to the core of it, right? I think it's an important thing. And one thing I really liked about what you said once was people who start their own companies often do so because they are the worst employees. Not that they're bad at working at the company.
Failed employee.
Yeah.
I'm a failed employee.
Not that
I'm also now unemployable. Like there is no way I could get a job. Like sometimes I'll have like a hard week or a hard day. I'm just like, I could be getting paid like so much money just to go and sit and work in a 9 to 5 and like whatever. And then I'll get to the end and I'll be like, nah. But just to come back to what you were saying, I feel like throughout everyone's life, you have what I call a big red button moment. We're presented with these big red button moments. And you listening to this, Kobi, and anyone listening to this now will know what I mean, because it's when you're presented with a crossroads. It's like you can either keep doing the thing that you're doing and be comfy, or you can do something else. And there is a big red button in the middle of your life that you've got to press. And it takes balls to press it, by the way, that takes you off on a completely different trajectory. And oftentimes we're not ready to press that big red button yet. So we keep being presented with it. Like the same scenario keeps happening. The same thing keeps happening. Whether it be the same relationship we keep ending up in with the same type of person, or whether we keep ending up in the same kind of job with the same kind of issues. We keep ending up like we do it over and over and over. And we keep being given the red button, keep giving the red button. And it's not until you're sick of your own shit. And it takes a lot of self-realization to get to that point. But it's not until you are sick of your own shit that you're like, fuck it, let's just go. Press that button. And when you press that button, you don't just press one button, you then continue to press the big red buttons for the rest of your life, because it's that one action you've taken completely alters your mindset. Like that you quitting your job has completely changed your mindset. Me quitting my job has completely changed. I think anything's possible now. I don't live in a world of like, oh, I could never hire a yacht for 10 days and take my family there because like I could never make the money. Yeah, I fucking can. I just need to work really hard to do it, but I'll figure it out. Like there's no boundary in my mind of what I can achieve. None. I am on a mission right now to make £1 million a year by myself after tax. That is like, I'm going to do that in the next few years. And I believe I will, which is exactly why I will. But that's because I'm in that big red button mindset. Anytime I get a big red button, I'm like, let's figure it out.
I've never heard you use the term big red button before, but I think you talked about having a podcast or starting a new podcast, but that should be the name of it, big red button. Yeah.
Big red button. Yeah, why not? Fuck around and find out. It's cool.
I really recall my first big red button moment. I was working as an engineer, used to work in chemical engineering in the oil and gas industry. And my job was fine. I had a bunch of friends in Manchester and I went away for a weekend with friends. And then one morning, and it was a great weekend, had lots of fun. And then like on the morning we were heading back, I just went for a walk by myself and I just started like crying, like really like big, heavy, like I was just walking around going, what the hell, why am I crying? And then I realized it was because I knew that Monday, the day after, I'd be going back to the job again, which it wasn't a hard job. It wasn't difficult, but I was just like, fucking hell, if this is me, like in like a few years time, then there's going to be something that's really wrong. And then that was probably the first time I pushed that big red button. And, you know, a few months later, I was living in Norway, still working in the same industry, but I really loved everyone I worked there with. When I was working in Manchester, it was like 1,000 people company, and it was just a pain in the arse to do everything. I went down to like a 25-person company, and half the people like my age, and it was just a really good, like I super enjoyed going into the office every day with those people. And I will keep on pressing those big red buttons because I know that you can make those changes. And I think
everything's within your gift.
Yeah.
And that's why I say to you, it keeps representing itself to you. If you ever have an issue, and I use the reference of a relationship, relationships and jobs, they're normally the ones that people can relate to the most. You keep getting the same issues, underpaid, undervalued, overworked. Like if you keep doing different jobs and the same issues keep happening, the job isn't the issue, it's you. If you keep ending up in the same relationship with the same kind of person who treats you a certain way, who doesn't value you, like the person isn't the problem, it's you. And you keep being presented with these big red button moments where you can change the narrative, you can opt out of the life that you have chosen up until this point. And I think until like you had that moment, that big red button moment for you was crying. You were like, fuck, like I can't go back to that, right? When you have those moments, something like shifts. The best way I can describe this, I was saying this to a therapist like 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, because I love therapy. I think therapy is great. And I try and go, not all the time, but every couple of years I'll have like a period of check-in because I feel like it's good for your brain to have some support in that way. And I remember saying to them, like, I feel like when something massive is about to happen in my life, I feel like I'm like an ice water swimmer. You know those guys probably in Norway that go swimming in big frozen lakes and they swim under the ice and then they come back up to the hole. I feel like I'm like pushing under some ice and I can see that there's something above it, but I can't find the hole. Like I'm trying to find the hole, but it's just like my brain is just like can't push through. And whenever I feel like that, I know there is something I'm avoiding doing.
Right.
Because that feeling of like being stuck and like not knowing what to do, like feeling overwhelmed or like there's too many things and you've got that analysis like that real paralysis of not knowing what decision to make means that I'm avoiding making the obvious decision. And that for me was like a real like a click moment for me. I was like, shit. So now whenever I feel like that, I'm like, what is the most obvious thing I'm avoiding doing? Okay, well, it's cool. It's like sacking that person or it's getting out of that situation or it's letting that client go.
Yeah,
or like, I know intrinsically what the answer is. I'm just avoiding dealing with it for the same reasons that people buy 7-minute abs because we hate fucking being uncomfortable, right? So we avoid the discomfort because we feel like if we're comfortable, we're going to have an easy life. But actually, it's the comfortable decisions we make makes our life uncomfortable. So
I think the first time I sat to client, just to use that point there, was such a chef's kiss moment.
Oh, life changing.
Because I didn't even. You're sorry?
It's better than the best pizza you've ever had.
It was just. I was just like this. So there's one when I started freelancing, and I didn't know how to charge myself out, and I found a client, made a website for them, her and her husband, and it was just before I got married, And I said, look, got next 2 weeks, I can work on it just on you guys, but I get married on this date and I go on honeymoon this date. I just need you to like give me all the information. Of course, it didn't happen. The website was super cheap and they were emailing me whilst on honeymoon. I was just like, nope, I don't need this. And after that point, I was like, oh, you can actually just not work with these people anymore. And that makes it way easier. That can just release you from this burden and then you can step into other opportunities, because it just takes up so much headspace and your time, which could be used with other people or building up your business or just relaxing with whoever you want to relax with, right? It's not worth it.
I've got buckets that I put clients into. So we have fame, fortune, fun. So fame is like, I don't really care what you pay me as long as I get to use your name, because your name is going to help me get rich or get me famous. You got fortune, which is what I actually should be charging people, because I'm very, very skilled at what I do. And like, you want a certain outcome, therefore you must pay for the outcome. And then we have fun buckets. I'm just like, I like you. Like, we'll figure it out, like whatever. And I think if you can be honest with yourself about which bucket someone falls into, like hypothetically, your client you just had, if they were going to make you really famous because they're really well known, then like maybe you'd be like, okay, fine, whatever. Like they're only paying me like a couple of grand. Like I'll cope with it. But if they're just a standard client, like you're not paid enough to deal with that. No. So you could be paying me these fees. So I think sometimes when people are worried, especially when they first start out, Kobi, maybe you can relate to, and you said it was right when you first started your freelancing stuff. I certainly did this. I used to charge 750 quid a month to write people's content on LinkedIn for like 20 posts a month. Like that's insane.
Yeah. That's a lot.
It's insane. I mean, I charge 20 grand. It's like a whole different ballgame. But in my experience, it's the ones that pay you the least that want the most.
It is. That's the thing, isn't it?
Most people work the most for, and it's just not worth the time. So for me, my pricing strategy is I want you to be pained when you pay me, because you value the outcome a lot more, and therefore you won't bother me to execute it. And people that typically are willing to pay the fees that I charge, and probably that you charge now, are people that want outcomes, not budget. So they don't bother you. They're like, you're the expert, carry on. You're on honeymoon, have a great time, see you when you're back.
I know, exactly. Like, yeah. I've just come back from watching cheetahs run. Like, can you leave me alone for like 5 minutes just to decompress?
Yeah, I'm watching Housewives. Relax. I said I'd do it. I didn't say when. I'm joking. I want
to touch on clout before, and the community before we go to the 3 aha moments questions, if that's all right. And I've got a few. I call them the C words because hey, why not? Let's lean into swearing. So consistency and like compounding, like kind of same thing. Connection, community. Content. I love all these C words that like are magically kind of float around my head. And with the community you built up with the clout and what you're building up together with, I love the LinkedIn lives. When I literally join like every week and just enjoy, first of all, the people that turn up there every week and they are battling to be the first commenter. And
I know you regularly win though.
I know, yeah. I'm like, gotta get in there first. But also kudos to anyone who does beat me.
Someone that we never even have considered in the race. Everyone's like, what? Who's Mike? He wasn't here last week.
Last time I was, I think last week, someone went, oh, Kobi, snooze, you lose. And I was like, no, it's fair play. That's fine. I got you. Just be there next week. But yeah, what's that community like for you? How important for you is it for you? And I'm sure that is that part of the fun bucket of like, not necessarily clients, but that's a fun thing you enjoy doing that like drives you forward.
You know, it's interesting. The LinkedIn Live came about when I first started Clout, and I was like, what can I do that no one else is doing? What can I, because my philosophy is this: give 100% of your knowledge away for free, prove that you can produce results by people that charge for your knowledge, and then bring some of your personality to the content. Like that, for me, you can nail those 3 things, you'll build a profitable personal brand. It's really quite simple. It's not easy, but it's quite simple. And I thought, right, I'll do a LinkedIn Live because nobody knows how to build their personal brand on LinkedIn. I know how to do it to a degree because I've got, at that point, 18,000, 20,000 followers or something. So I thought, fine, I'll just tell people what I know. So I used to do a LinkedIn Live the same time as I do it now. So it was 12:15 on a Thursday, every single week on LinkedIn. And I'll just talk about stuff. And when I started off, there was like 5 people that came, maybe. And none of them stayed the whole way. It was the first time I did it. And then over a period of time, I got more and more and more and more and more. And now we get like 200 or 300 people a show, sometimes more. But on the replay, we get like 10 to 15,000. So we get good numbers now. Is it fun for me? Yes, I absolutely love it. My team keeps saying like, where is this in the funnel? Like, where are we bringing? I'm like, I like it. Just let me live. Like, I like seeing these people. I don't see people all week. I work remotely. Let me have my fun with my friends. Okay. So that's the other thing. But the other thing is I really believe that in pursuit of trying to do these scalable things, with our personal brand. So like everyone's looking for a hack, a scale, a content system, a methodology, or whatever. And actually, in my experience, the best personal brands are built through just talking to one another and like speaking to people and like answering their questions and helping them and introducing yourself to them and all this kind of stuff. And so the reboot of the live, which it rebooted in January, really came because I was seeing like this lack of humanity on social media and this like lack of engagement. And I kind of wanted to bring that back, but with value. And I think it's worked because people come, like you said, every week. They learn something every week, but also they get to see and meet people every week.
And also, that's the first thing you have to say is like, hey, everyone, make sure you connect with each other. And that generally does happen. People do like, after every LinkedIn Live, there's new people in my DMs and inbox and saying, hey, Kobi, how are you doing? I saw you on
the LinkedIn Live.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And that for me is like a win. Like if I can be the connector of people, then I then become the person that connects people. And that is what I'm trying to do, build my personal brand. So yes, community is really important. The way I approach community is quite different. I'm not looking for hacks and scale and how many volume comments can I leave. I'm looking to have impact on people's lives. And if that means I'm giving up an hour of my time every Thursday to connect people and teach them something and give back in whatever way I can, then I think that's a good use of my time. I also have probably very untangible dreams of being the most well-known person in personal branding. Like I want to be the queen of personal branding in the world. Like that is my numero uno goal. And so I'm acutely aware that there's two things you need to trade for that, either time or money. I'm not mega rich yet. Like I'm very comfortable. I'm lucky. I can fly to the Maldives. I can't fly business class to the Maldives with 4 people, but I can fly to the Maldives. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to reach like a different level, but I don't have that kind of cash yet. So I haven't got the cash to be able to spend on a team of people to run all of my content for me because I don't have that kind of money. But I do have time. I can give my time. So I'm trading my time right now to be able to get to the point where I want to get in life. And I think that's something, going back to what you were saying earlier about it's taken you 6 years, and I love that you're honest about that. You got to be honest with yourself. Like, where are you at? If you've got money to help people, to pay people to do this for you, pay them. But if you don't have money yet, you have to trade the thing you do have, which is very valuable, which is your time, to get to the point to be able to scale. And I'm still in the, like, I'm very fortunate. I'm lucky. I love my house. I own my house. I love my car. I travel very frequently. I live a very comfortable life, but I'm not there yet. And so I'm still trading my time to be able to get to the point where I can leverage money to scale to that next point.
And inspired by yourself, I have started my own LinkedIn Lives and 15 minutes podcast hacks. Yeah. What I've loved in the past few weeks is people saying, oh, can you just tell me about this thing? So I'm like, okay, well that'll be the subject of the next LinkedIn Live. And that really helps me because I'm perpetually trying to work out what people need to know the most and to help them. And also that helps me because I'm like, oh, okay, for me, that might be foundational, basic, super simple, but I can understand that you might find it difficult. So I need to work out how the different ways it is a roadblock to people and unpicking that and then sharing it back to them saying, well, this is how it can work for you, or this is how to do it, or this is a few ways to do the same thing, or whatever, buy this thing because that's the best one and it's cheaper than you might think. All these different answers for the questions which I hadn't considered, which is I find really powerful and find it really interesting.
I love that. You should try and, are you putting them on YouTube as well?
I need to put them on YouTube. I need to put them on Instagram and share that more. That's the next step.
Get them on YouTube because there's just search then, isn't it? Yeah. Like, what is the best lighting for dirt? What is the best podcast for dirt? Lots of people don't use YouTube because they find it scary. And actually YouTube's very easy to, not easy, simple. I keep saying easy when I mean simple. If you get the keywords right and the content is informative enough, like you can get very, very good results on there.
Yeah, and I've put my podcast on there, but not put the lives on there yet. But this is Aha Moments podcast. I've got 3 questions, not much time, but I want to make sure we get these 3 questions in because everyone gets them. So I've got 3 questions. The first of which is, can you think of an aha moment in a company you work with, could be clouds, could be anything else, that your customers reach, and how do you find it first of all, and how do you make sure they get to that light bulb moment as soon as possible to make sure they get the best out of your company?
But what do we do? Yeah, I think for me, it's most people, when I say to them, like, so why do you want to build your personal brand? They go, I want more leads. I want more revenue. I want more brand awareness. I want more. Like it's always some like business tangible goal. But then when I dig into it, and I really started to pay attention to the feedback I was getting from them when we started working together. So let's say 2 or 3 months into the process, they've started getting reactions, they've started getting those leads, they've started getting the volume that they wanted on the impressions and the followership and all this kind of stuff. The thing I always get is not, oh wow, we got all of these leads this week, or we got all this kind of stuff. It's I got a DM from someone the other day and they liked my LinkedIn post, or wow, I actually feel like I'm like I'm helping people. Or the one that really made a massive difference to me was when someone said, you helped me get my mojo back. I didn't realize how unconfident I was until the confidence increase I got from sharing things online. And so the aha moment that I've realized is, people say they want leads, they say they want brand awareness, because that's the logic bit. And of course that's what they want. That's what they need to justify this process. Yeah. But actually the aha they get, and the aha that I see in them, is being accepted for who they are. And when you accept who you are and are accepted for who you are, you don't give a shit about people not liking you. No. And that to me is insane. Watching that process happen is a joy.
So I'm sure a lot of people are maybe when they started, they say something like, I want to get 100,000 followers. But once they start seeing those DMs coming in, the number of followers pales in comparison.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Second aha moment question is aha moment in a product or service that you buy. What was it, and what brought you in the first place?
So aha moment for me was, one of my favorite, I take every single day something called Will Powder's collagen. So it's a collagen powder that you put in whatever smoothies, right, coffee. I have it in a black coffee. And I started taking it, and my then ops director, 3 weeks after I started taking it, was like, have you had something done to your face? And I was like, no. And he's like, you had a facial, new foundation maybe? I was like, no. And he's like, your skin looks amazing. I was like, oh, thanks. And now everywhere I go, when people are near me, it looks like I've got a filter on. I don't. I've got, my skin is insane. And this is from this collagen thing. So my aha moment with the collagen was, they tell you if you take this, you will achieve that. But no one ever buys that stuff, do you? You just buy it because you've seen some celebrity advertise it, or whatever it might be. Fuck around, I'll just see whether it works or not. But this stuff actually works. So yeah, I love that product so much for it, because there are very few products you can take, particularly in the supplement space, that make a genuine difference to your life. And this has made a genuine difference. Right? And now I'm bought into all their products. I'll buy all of their stuff now.
So what's it called?
Nootropics, electrolytes, protein powder. Give it all
Give it to me. You've won me.
Yeah, so Will Powder's your listing. I'd like a sponsorship deal, please.
So Will Powder's collagen.
Collagen, yeah, it's a great brand. Okay. It's so opposite to everyone else in the supplement space. Everyone else in the supplement space is trying to be sexy, to be beautiful, to be designer. They're just loud colors, obnoxious, in your face, crazy packaging. I'm just yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay, the final aha moment question is a personal aha moment or life hack that you'd like to share with people that makes a difference to your life.
I say just fucking post it all the time. I think people think of that exclusively in content. And actually, just fucking post it to me is a great little tagline, because it helps, it gets people to stop the scroll. It helps people kind of understand my mission, all this kind of stuff. But that for me is a life hack. It comes back to this method, this sort of theory that I have about the big red button and, making these decisions in your life. You're going to die one day. And you're going to look back on your life and you're going to think, that was a good run. Or you're going to think, damn, I wish I'd done more. And over 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 again, when studies are done of people who are passing away or on their deathbed, they say, I wish I'd done more. And I say just fucking post it all the time as a reminder to everyone else, but also really to a reminder of myself that you are dead a lot longer than you're alive. And there is very little that you can do in this life that's going to substantially fuck up your future. So why not just fucking post it? What have you got to lose? You are the only person who is going to be there for yourself unconditionally for the rest of your life. And that is a fact. If you are the only person who is responsible, who is accountable, who is physically and emotionally available to take care of you, then what are you fucking doing? Do whatever you want. Wear the crazy outfit, book that skydive, say that thing on the internet. Why not? Why not? What? Because a stranger down the road thinks you're weird? Because some internet person thinks that you're strange for sticking your face in a phone? Imagine if your child came to you and said, Dad, I really want to post this thing online, but this guy at school said that I was an idiot. You'd be like, fuck him, post whatever you want. But as grown-ups, we don't. As grown-ups, we find all of these excuses to not do that because we are so scared of being rejected by people we will never meet and probably don't even like.
Yeah.
So we don't do it. So my thing is just fucking post it because life is so short and you are actually alive a lot longer than you think. But the last thing I'd want to do for my life is to get 10, 20, 30 years down the road and be like, damn, I wish I'd had that opportunity and like I didn't hit that button, you know? So just fucking hit the button.
I mean,
what's the worst that's going to happen?
I absolutely love that. Are you happy for people to connect with you on LinkedIn? Of course you are.
To be everywhere. Instagram, Tipple.
And I'll also link to, would you want me to link to Clout or I'll send me the best website you want people to go to. I'll put it in the show notes.
I mean, look, I think, come and check out my playbook. I think that's probably the best place for people to learn about
100%.
Building their personal brand. I'm very much a believer in democratizing information. And so I've put together a 58-page PDF, which details every single thing I did to build my personal brand on LinkedIn. And it's like 39 quid, which is, for me, I think affordable for most people. Whereas most of I think people on LinkedIn are charging like fucking £6,000 for a similar thing. I'm like, okay, dude.
It's always a guy.
But no, I want everyone to realize that everyone has something to say and it's within your gift to go out, get there and get the attention that you deserve to make the things happen that you want to happen. So
thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Kobi.
Everyone here, thank you very much. As I said, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, whatever, please give it a rating, a review, and share with your friends. Share with one episode. If you're watching on YouTube, rate it, subscribe to me, leave a comment below. And leave a comment below for me and Amelia, just to say you enjoyed the episode. It's really, if you're watching on, please do leave would really, really love it as you're here, as you made it this far, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment below and like this episode, subscribe to this channel. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, whatever is your favorite podcast app of choice, please leave a review. Check out the show notes, click on the links, get in contact with Amelia, and share with your friends, whether you're on YouTube or any of the audio platforms. Share with one friend. That would be a great help. Just one friend. Find someone who you think would benefit from this episode and share it with them. That would be absolutely outstanding. And whilst you're still here, there might be a video here, or a bit further here, or here, or here, or here, or here. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to pop up. But please click on it and listen to and watch another episode. It would really help me out. I love doing these and I'd love to keep on doing these.